Your ego tries to protect you from real and perceived danger. In addition to trying to keep you safe, your ego is also responsible for locking away your wounds and trying to keep them from being triggered. In essence, your ego is your very own bodyguard. Today, as I promised you a couple of weeks ago, I'm gonna teach you how to soften your ego. Coming up. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is all about personal development. Every week I'm here to serve you with tips and strategies to become the best version of yourself so you can achieve your dreams and live an awesome life. Because as you know, you deserve it. Everyone deserves an awesome life. So I invite you to subscribe to my channel below if you like these kinds of videos. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about ego. What is ego? An intriguing question. If you haven't watched this video, I suggest you watch it by clicking the link in the description below. Check it out. Now listen, sometimes your ego keeps trouble out, and sometimes it misreads a situation or uses an outdated approach and unwittingly does more damage than good. While many traditional, religious, and modern spiritual communities point to the challenging nature of the ego as a reason to try to rid oneself of it, there are some psychological theories that offer a different perspective. These approaches focus more on healing and integrating rather than eradicating. One approach that is particularly salient is called internal family systems, also called IFS. IFS is a fast-growing evidence-based treatment developed by Harvard Medical School. It is an accelerated path to self-awareness that is rooted in neuroscience. According to IFS, we have many internal parts to our personality as well as a centered, compassionate, wise self that is at the core of our being. The goal of IFS is to allow this higher self to lead all of the parts harmoniously. This is called being self-led. The goal of IFS therapy, which is also referred to as parts work, isn't to get rid of any of the parts, but to understand and heal them so that they can transform into their highest expression. In IFS, the ego is mainly seen as a collection of parts that try to protect us by managing our lives. Once we start healing our relationship to the ego via our attitude toward it and the way we talk to it, it can soften and choose to do its burdensome jobs in a less extreme way. It may even want to take a break from working so hard or change jobs entirely. Most importantly, however, it will allow us more access to heal the deeper wounded parts that it is protecting. Embracing the ego can be beneficial in many other ways. Once our ego is recognized for what it's trying to do for us, it will not only step aside more often, it will also transform into something much more helpful and effective. Life gets so much easier when there is less internal conflict and more harmony. Here are 5 strategies to soften your ego. Practice compassion. This is challenging but so important. People with a strong ego are usually attached to something. People become attached to ways of doing things, attached to biases about certain people or approaches, attached to material things, attached to attention and praise, attached to a certain position, attached to power, and even attached to people. This attachment builds the ego and inflates a certain identity to continue to cling to. Operating with a strong ego is tiring. It's bringing that strong ego person down energetically and creating division for them in relationships. Like I said before, one way to soften the ego is through compassion. Compassion for yourself and for others. Compassion means sympathetic consciousness of others' distress, together with a desire to alleviate it. I think the key word here is consciousness. We need to become aware that we all go through difficult times, and we need compassion for each other. That's why helping others is so important, because it also makes you better. It softens your ego. Allow your ego to introduce itself. Until this point in your life, you are probably mostly unaware of your ego. When you are unconscious, your ego is running the show. Gone unchecked for most of your adult life, your ego only gets stronger. Only through observing you can soften your ego. A softened ego brings a state of inner peace. The ego does not like to be observed, so this exercise is highly uncomfortable. Getting through this discomfort takes work, so be patient. You can do this when you wake up or before bed. It takes less than 1 minute. Find a quiet place with no distraction where you feel most comfortable. Close your eyes and take one deep breath. Repeat this affirmation. I am safe and I choose a new way to experience myself as separate from my ego. Here we are priming the brain to relax into this work. It can be very uncomfortable to view yourself in this new way. You might feel sensations in your body or racing thoughts telling you not to practice the exercise. All of this is totally normal. Fear-based resistance from the ego. Seeing your ego is an important step to taking away his power and decision-making control. Have a friendly encounter. This step is about becoming aware of what you really think about yourself. You have been repeating this for many years, so observing what you actually speak about yourself can be surprising. The most friendly way to meet your ego is when it's not triggered. Set an intention to witness your ego with one conversation you have today. Ask some questions and notice everything your ego says. There is no right or wrong way to do this. You want to let your stream of consciousness flow without editing or analyzing. For example, ask your ego the following questions. What kind of person are you? What do you think of other people in general? Are you getting what you deserve in this life? Did anything in that conversation bring any uncomfortable emotional reaction? Describe it. Congratulations, you just witnessed your ego. Practice is key with this new skill. The repetition will prime new pathways in the brain and allow observation to come more easily with time. Name your ego. When you name your ego, you take a powerful step in seeing the ego as separate from you. Choose any name that comes to you intuitively. My ego's name is John. I watch John come and go. Sometimes I don't see John for a few hours and then he comes around with reckless abandon. Certain things make John extra touchy and that is okay. By naming your ego, you have separated from it. Now you will see the ego coming and going. You will be surprised just how often it comes and how quickly it goes. Practice this stage for at least 2 weeks. You may have major breakthroughs during this stage. With time, you will not only be aware of your ego, you will know what situations to expect your ego to be triggered. This expanded awareness allows you to see past the ego and to choose a response more aligned with your authentic self. Meet the triggered ego. What is a trigger? A trigger is an emotional response not equal to the event. For example, your sister says, "You look tired," at a family get-together. You respond sarcastically, "Of course I look tired. I've been working 60 hours a week and raising a child. Must be nice to have tons of free time. Don't worry, next time I'll be out of a cosmopolitan magazine." What your sister said objectively, "You look tired." What the ego heard is, "She's always so rude and condescending to me. It's because she's been jealous of me her whole life. Now she thinks she's Little Miss Hotshot." Maybe your ego is right, don't get me wrong, but it's about letting your triggered ego respond rather than your authentic self. Notice the next time you are triggered. You will know you are triggered when you have a faster heartbeat, you feel like yelling or shutting down, or have a feeling you might lose it. Here is another example. Let's say you felt the emotion of anger when your boyfriend or girlfriend left the dishes in the sink. The event of leaving the dishes in the sink means that I am not worthy of consideration. That's your ego speaking to you. The objective reality was that dishes were left in the sink. This caused the emotion of anger because of an underlying belief that I am not worthy of consideration. Here, the ego felt a core emotion, unworthiness. This was painful, and since you have never learned to process emotion, the ego came to protect it outwards. Your ego prefers to dump emotions on others, rather than feel a painful emotion within yourself. This is it. I hope you find this video useful. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm always interested in your opinion. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it and share it with your friends and family. And please subscribe to my channel. Join this amazing community. Take care.